What's up my friends, welcome back to the channel. I am sure you will agree with me that not too long ago, adding salt in your cocktails to make the flavors pop seemed a little bit geeky or weird even, but now it is totally normal. In fact, recently a lot of bartenders started to experiment with other ingredients to enhance flavors in cocktails, like when I did the soy sauce old-fashioned, and right now I think one of the ingredients that's getting more attention than ever is miso. And I love miso, it's a great ingredient, it's savory, packed with umami, a little bit funky, and when used the right way, it can totally elevate your savory cocktail game. But working with miso is a little bit tricky sometimes as well, so there's a couple of things to understand to get the best result, and we're gonna talk about that today. So my friends, without further ado, if you are ready, let me show you how to make the best miso syrup in the whole galaxy. Let's go. Alright, so first of all, what is miso? It's a traditional Japanese ingredient made out of fermented soybeans, salt, and a type of fungus called koji. There's different types of miso, and to put it as simple as possible, the darker it is in color, the richer the fermented flavors will be. So the recipe we're making today, the method we're going to be using, and the key factors to consider when working with miso apply to all the different types. The only difference will be the flavor. So when I say there's a couple of things to consider when working with miso, it's literally a couple. There's two key factors. The first one is the fact that miso is heat sensitive. It's a fermented ingredient, so it's alive, and if you overheat it, you're gonna kill the live bacteria and enzyme in it, and this can dull the flavor quite a lot. So in order to avoid that, I try never to heat it above 80 degrees Celsius. Second, some parts of miso simply won't dissolve, and since it's impossible to turn it completely into solution, miso in a syrup will always separate unless you stabilize it properly. And I think we can all agree that no one likes to see small pieces of turd floating in their cocktails, so this will be a very important step. In order to stabilize your miso syrups, you will need two ingredients, gum arabic and xanthan gum. With these two things, you're gonna be all set. The recipe we're gonna make today is a white miso pineapple syrup, so let's get into it. So first, we're gonna need one ripe and clean pineapple. We're gonna cut off the skin, and don't worry if you take a little bit of flesh in the process, because that's what we're gonna use to infuse our syrup, so that's just gonna give more flavor. We're also gonna cut out the core of the pineapple, weight it and the skin as well, cut that into smaller pieces and place that in a sous-vide bag, and add the same amount by weight of sugar in a 2-to-1 ratio, white to muscovado sugar. Then you're gonna sous vide and seal your bag, place it in a hot water bath set at 75 Celsius, cook it for 2 hours, and while this is cooking, I'm gonna take a short break to drink my pre-alcohol. You know, my life is not always easy. I make cocktail videos for a living, and sometimes I even get to drink them, but I still have to wake up the next morning and get back to work. These videos are not going to edit themselves, you know? And that's when Pre-Alcohol by ZBiotics comes in. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut, and it's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for how you feel the next day. And Pre-Alcohol by ZBiotics produces an enzyme that breaks this byproduct down. So if you make Pre-Alcohol your first drink of the night and drink responsibly, you'll feel your best tomorrow. Like me. I've been using Pre-Alcohol for a couple of years now, and I keep on coming back to it. But you don't have to take my words for it, because they offer a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you want to give it a try, click the link in the description to get 15% off your first order at checkout. So thank you very much, Pre-Alcohol, for sponsoring this episode, but now let's go back to our syrup. Alright, so after 2 hours of cooking at 75 Celsius, take your pineapple scrap and sugar bag out, and be careful, it will be hot, but play with it a little bit to make sure to dissolve all what's left of solids in there. Then you're gonna strain and weight the syrup, pressing really hard on the bag to make sure to extract the syrup till the last drop. We want to have a 2-to-1 ratio syrup, and because I started with 300 grams of sugar, that I now have 418 grams of syrup, I'm gonna add 32 grams of water to get that 2-to-1 ratio sugar to liquid. Now we're gonna add the white miso paste, and for every 450 grams of syrup, we're gonna add 30 grams of it. Same thing here, for 450 grams of syrup, we're gonna add 1.2 grams of gum arabic and 0.2 grams of xanthan gum. Of course, if you made a smaller batch or a bigger batch, just do a rule of third here to get your quantity. Then we're gonna blend that at high speed for about 30 seconds. And lastly, we're gonna filter it through a nut milk bag, which will allow us to get the silkiest syrup as possible. And there have it, a stabilized white miso pineapple syrup. I left this bottle sitting in my fridge for 24 hours without touching it because I wanted to show you how stable it was. Without the xanthan gum and the gum arabic, we would have a whole lot of miso sitting at the bottom of our bottle. This can always be solved, by shaking your syrup before using it, but then in the cocktail, it will separate back again really fast. So it's not gonna look good, and it also kind of unbalances your drink because you have a whole lot of flavor particles sitting at the bottom of your drink, and you're actually not gonna drink it until your last sip. So really using the stabilization for your miso syrup is the way to go. So now that you know, you can use this method to make other miso syrups like a plain white sugar and miso syrup or a honey and miso syrup. You can also change the miso type to change the flavor profile, like by using a red miso paste, for example. Feel free to experiment, but keep the same method and it's gonna be perfect every time. Now, I'm sure you would like at least one great recipe to use this one in, so let's make a riff on the Pisco punch. So first in our shaker, 1.5 ounces of Pisco, 1/2 ounce of reposado mezcal, 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and 3/4 ounce of our miso and pineapple syrup. Now we add ice and shake vigorously for 10 to 15 seconds. I'm gonna fine strain it in a cocktail coupe. And there you have it, your savory Pisco punch. Cheers. Oh my God. It has a deep, rich, nutty flavor profile. The saltiness of the miso really makes all the flavors pop. It is tropical with the pineapple, and the hint of smokiness from the mezcal really balances everything. It is a wonderful cocktail, a great syrup. I love it, and I hope you're gonna love it too. So my friends, this is it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Please turn the bell if you want to make sure not to miss the next one. And until then, thank you very much again. Have a great day and see you very soon. Cheers.